going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. Now I did have other plans to open up season 6 in a completely different way, but unfortunately the Honda Magna had other plans, and unfortunately that is why I'm having to start this season with this situation and not how I wanted to make it, which I will show you guys probably in the next 2 or 3 videos if I can get this going again. Yeah, you heard me right. The Honda Magna is down, and I do not know why. I have an idea as to why, so hear me out on this. I want to do 2 tests on this bike. I have an idea of what's wrong with it. I just want to be 100% sure. I've already purchased parts for it because I think that's what the problem was. It did set me back about 280 bucks, but I'm pretty confident in what I think it may be. So what I'm thinking is it's not a fuel delivery problem. I think I lost spark. And on these bikes, they have a thing called a CDI, or capacitive discharge ignition. And what that does is it controls the timing of the bike and provides spark. I mean, there's other parts of the system that provide a spark, but that is the part that controls the spark and timing for the engine. And I think my CDI box decided to leave the chat, which kind of sucks, but a little demonstration what it should do. It should start right up. We'll pull choke, turn the power on, and then it should start. Yeah, it tried to for a quick second and then it said, nope. Let's try it one more time. Yeah, that's a no-go. I should not have to turn it that many times to try to get it to start. So I clearly have something major wrong with it. And the first thing I want to definitely do, which I'm probably just going to jump straight to it, is I'm going to test for spark. So the easiest thing that I know of and what to do is, since this spark plug is right here, it's easily accessible versus, you know, having to dig into the engine. I have to take the tank off and move stuff out of the way. This is the only one. These 2 back here are probably the only 2 that are simplest to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the spark plug out, and I'm going to ground it out to the engine, and I'm going to see if I can actually get a spark. It'll let me know if the condition of the stator, if the stator's trying to put out anything. I can even check that with the multimeter on the voltage regulator, or my rectifier regulator, which I don't remember where I put it. Where's it at on this thing? I think it's underneath the seat. Yeah, it's gonna be back up under here. Also, in future videos, I just want to throw this out there. I did go, and I don't know why they sent me 2 sets, but I did buy brake pads for the front of this bike, and I got those from Caltrick. And then I also got brake shoes. As you guys can see, these are for the rear. These are for the drums, or for the drum brake in the back. And that will be for a later video. I'm going to be taking the wheels off this thing, changing out the brakes, and then I'm also going to be taking the forks off of the bike so I can send those off to go get rebuilt. And then from there, I will also tear down the panels of the bike. I'll be taking the tank off. I'll be taking the front fender, the rear fender, anything that's going to be painted, and we're going to get that ready for the custom paint. It's going to be time for that now. So I want to try to get this thing ready, at least functional, for Bike Week in this November. Hopefully I can get it done. So I don't know. We'll see. All right, so the first thing I'm going to look at on this right away is it's going to be the CDI box. And on this bike, it's located on the right side of the bike, right underneath the seat, and it will be behind this chrome plated panel, which this cost me a lot of money to get. Oh my God. They were not easy to find. Getting parts for this bike is crazy. All right, so the CDI box is this stupid thing right here. And in order to get to it, I think I may have to take the seat off. And I'm not happy about that. I am not happy about that. Can you even see that? Yeah, you can. It's right there. That's my CDI box. So that's our next target. I think it was a 12 millimeter. I could be wrong. Let's see. I can't believe I had to do this. Oh. All right, let me take the seat off real quick, and I'll be right back. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pop this off. Had to take out the 3 bolts that hold this in. And then out comes the seat. Not sure why I'm narrating this to you. You guys can see it. Okay. Man, what did I do with the CDI box? Not CDI. The rectifier regulator. I think it's under the chassis. Oh, am I right? It is. Yep. You little... It's underneath the battery box. It's all right. If I can unplug it, I can get to it. But before I undo this, let's go ahead and pop a spark plug out. And we're going to see if I can get a spark just by turning over the engine. If I can get a spark, that'll tell me that the CDI is doing something. But if I don't get anything, that means either the CDI box is 100% dead, or the one thing I really don't want to have happen, if you guys own a bike, you'll know this, the stator or the pickup coil on the bike is no longer working. Which I highly doubt that's the case because of how the bike died while driving it. Because I drove it all day the day before and not one time did I have an issue. So let's go ahead. I guarantee that the coils are good. I know for a fact the spark plugs are good. They're brand new. Spark plug. Let me get my tools out real quick. And we'll pull the spark plug out. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I got the spark plug out, as you guys can see. Let's go ahead and let's zoom in on that. That's spark plug action. All right. I'll turn out most of the light. Turn on the ignition to the bike. Actually, let me kill all the light. That should help some. And I'll hold that spark plug to the exhaust, and it should give me an arc. Should. Otherwise, it's going to zap the fire out of me, and then I'm going to be mad. That was a spark. I can see in the reflection. Well, dang. Okay. Huh. Well, the only variable that has changed recently, which is quite interesting, the only variable that I changed was the fuel line. And I wonder if the fuel has... Either this fuel hose is kinked in such a way it's not allowing any fuel to pass, or there's a diaphragm over here on this other side that operates with vacuum, and that will open up as soon as the engine turns over. And I wonder if that component has failed. Where'd it go? It's up here. I wonder if there's a vacuum leak. So the only way I can see to test that, man, I had a spark on that one. You know what? Hold on a second. Let me roll back the footage, and I want to double check that. All right, so after review, here I sound like an NFL official. It's showing that I had a spark on that, but I want to test it a few more times. I want to be 100%.
It wants to start. It wants to start. Okay.
That's fuel starvation. It's fuel starvation. It has to be fuel starvation, because that is a very healthy spark, and it's steady. It was solid. It wasn't misfiring. Okay, so before I go and dump a whole bunch of unnecessary money into this bike, that tells me that the CDI is producing spark. So the only other thing I can really test to be 100% is fuel supply. Fuel supply. So what I can do, and I brought these in, I can test to see if I'm getting fuel, which I have a feeling I'm probably not. But I can take this fuel line, and I can hook it up to one of the bottom bowls of my carburetors, pick one of them, drain it so it's empty, and when you go to start the bike, that diaphragm should open up, allowing fuel to flow into that one carburetor. So if that happens, then that will let me know that I have fuel flow. Does that make sense? I got 4 carburetors. I'm doing a TikTok, y'all, so give me a second. Hang on. Okay, I want to test that out. Let's go ahead and let's put our spark plug back where it came from. We're going to put it back in its happy place. I'm actually surprised it came out as quick as it did.
That's what she said?
And whoop. All right, I'm going to work on one of these carburetors that's on this side, but I got to take this cover off. So give me 1 second. Let's go through a quick time lapse. All right, so I've already gotten to this little test here. I got my little setup. All right, now what I've done is this hose that's right here is connected to the bottom of this carburetor bowl, and I've opened up the valve on the other side, and that fuel is supposed to drain down into here, into this little Gatorade thing. Now, this should be fairly full. There is almost no gas getting in there. Most of that was already Gatorade still in there. There is almost no gas. It's barely draining any. Look at this. See, it's just dripping. That's barely leaking. Let me close that a little bit. try to turn over the bike. Now that should allow some fuel to push through. Should. Let me close that valve some. Okay. Let's turn the engine. It's not going to take off or anything. Okay. On. And I should get like fuel coming out. There is no gas coming out of that. Yeah, as you can see, it's barely dripping. There's no fuel. I'm not getting any fuel. Okay, well, that's surprising. That is very surprising. Wow. Let me do it again. Nothing. Maybe a drip or two. So some fuel is getting through. Very, very little, but not enough to start it. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to button all this back up and put this back together. And this fuel line that's up in here, right here, that is my problem. Right there. That was just a quick little patch job. This hose is kinked right here, and it's kinked right here. This hose is not made for this bike. I kind of had to throw something together so I can get home. But it turns out, I think this is my choke point. It's actually pinching off my fuel flow, and it's not giving me any gas. That would explain a lot. All right, well, now that I've figured out what my main problem is, looks like I need to go buy some parts. So let me go ahead and put all this thing back together. Call it a night. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, that is going to be a wrap for today's video. I have done all the tests I can possibly do on this bike for tonight. We did test the spark, and I got spark. Clearly, I was able to see it, especially turning the lights out. And then checking for fuel. Hooking up that little hose and doing that little trick. I've got no fuel coming out of my carburetors, which means this little temporary fix that I did under here, that pinch line, is, I think, the culprit. I'm about 80% sure, 82.6% sure, pretty positive. So I'm going to go into Partzilla, and I'm going to order the part, the actual fuel line that's designed for this bike, because that fuel line comes out and then it curves. It's shaped in that curve. If you try to use any regular line like this one, what I've done, it kinks, which shuts out the fuel, and, well, it brings me to this video and why I made this video. So, but now that I got all that kind of squared away, I'm going to be moving on to the next thing after I get the fuel line and I get it running. Once I'll do that, or once I get all that done, I'm going to put the bike up on the lift. I'm going to get these wheels off so I can start changing out the brakes, because, I mean, the brake pads in this, I don't know how old they are, and I'd like to have newer stuff on here. So I'm going to replace the pads in the front, shoes in the back. I'm going to take the front forks off the bike and then take them up to a place called Cycle Shack up there in Conroe, Texas, so they can rebuild my front forks. I don't know how to do that. I'm not confident enough to do that yet. I've never done it before. And the fork seals on this look pretty bad, so I don't want to risk it. I think it's time to go get them done. So it's only about 150 bucks, so it's not bad. It really isn't. So I'll get that done, the brakes, and then I'm going to take the front fender, the tank, and the rear fender off, because it's time for paint, y'all. It's time for that custom paint job. And man, I've been looking forward to this. I really have. I've been working on this bike now for about almost 3 years now. Something like that. I think about 3 years. That is going to be a wrap for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the content of it as much as I had making it. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, y'all take it easy. I love you. Good night.